Now that our atlatl is complete, it's time to start working on our dart. You can see we have a nice long piece of mule fat here. I'll use turkey fletchings up top. We'll sinew wrap everything so I have back straps from a mule deer. And then I'm going to seat this with a hardwood foreshaft. So I'll select from one of these pieces of arrowweed. We'll process this down and we'll have a removable foreshaft, and I'll even use a stone tip at the end. So I'll select from one of these stone points, and that'll really give you the true geometry and the true feel of the atlatl and dart system. And I want to make this thing as authentic as possible. So what we've done is we've already started prepping this dart. You can see it's nice and straight, so we've already heat treated it. We proceeded to remove the outer bark, and then we sanded it down from a 60 grit all the way to a 600 grit. But at this time I need to use my leg bone to burnish this wood. See, what happens when you use sandpaper is it lifts up all of the grain and it exposes a lot of the wood. So I want to press that back down. I want to make this wood nice and tight, nice and hard and compact, and that's exactly what burnishing does. So I'll just rest my dart on my leg, and much like an arrow shaft, I just run that bone around my dart. Just like this. I want to stay away from the bottom, and I also want to stay away from the top, because that's where we're going to use sinew in order to reinforce not only the foreshaft, but our hollowed out section where it fits into the spur. The good thing about burnishing is you can sight down the dart or the material you're using, and you can see there's a slight sheen to it, so you get this glossy look, and you can see the parts that you've missed. So I can see I've missed a section in here. I'll just hold my thumb down there, and I'll take the leg bone and I'll just hit that area and kind of focus on that individual section. So at this point I'll just continue on. Again, we'll burnish, we'll flip it around, we'll sight down our dart, and we'll focus on the areas we missed. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but we have successfully burnished this shaft. We have a nice glossy look to it. Might be difficult to see on camera. So at this point, I've been preparing some sinew, and I want to wrap both of these ends for extra reinforcement. And the sinew has been soaking in this water for about 10-15 minutes. But just an example, you can see how thin we can break this down to. I mean, that's thinner than a piece of dental floss. And the good thing about sinew is when it is wet, it expands, but when it dries, it shrinks, thus locking tight against the material. It's like nature's fiberglass. So I'll just take these back straps, excuse me. I almost said leg tendons. I'm thinking of the bow that I just backed not too long ago. And I'll just break these down even further. And again, I'll just wrap these ends. The end where my foreshaft is going to sit, I usually double wrap it, even triple wrap it, to prevent any damage when throwing the dart. And again, we left this bottom area exposed. We didn't burnish it because I want a rough surface to where this sinew can grip down on and bind down tight. So I just wrap it around again. then I tuck that tag end under. So same thing, just slowly wrap it around. Sometimes I'll get a little bit of the membrane on the fiber, but when it's soaked in water, you can just push that down. It's so amazing what sinew can do. I mean, to a lot of applications in a lot of these native crafts. Our Creator put everything on the earth for a reason, and I believe in honoring the animal that sacrificed its life for you to use, not only for tools, but to feed your family. And that's one thing a lot of the television shows fail to show, is the respect and the honor for the animal. A lot of these hunters on TV are hunting, in fact, for a head mount or a trophy. And that's not the way I believe in things. I believe in using every part of the animal, giving its soul back to the earth, and respecting the animal. That's so important. And I think the land humbles you when doing so. And you guys can see we have both ends wrapped nice and tight. So at this point, I need to let the sinew cure anywhere from a day to 2 days.